This episode of Sports Addict Live brought to you by First Round Collectibles. With over 40 years experience, First Round Collectibles offers the widest variety of quality Beckett-graded sports cards anywhere. Representing 10 major sports, First Round has all your favorite players from all your favorite teams at great prices. We are proud of our knowledgeable staff and top-rated customer service, and our reviews vouch for our integrity. Visit us today at firstroundcollectibles.com and find your heroes. That's the number one, STRoundcollectibles.com. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans.
Yeah. Let's go. We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard. Yeah. Oh yeah, the beat's back. Adrenaline pumping through my veins, can't relax. Original, I am not the same as these cats. I sting them if they never...
Hey, welcome, Sports Addict Live. We're back. It's the weekend. Happy Thanksgiving to all my Canadian friends and family. And I guess happy October to my American friends. Man, the sports world is heating up. Once again, week 5 in the NFL. It's this way every year, right? Like, you just, all spring, all summer, you can't wait. It comes, and then boom, we're already a quarter of the way through the season. Week 5, the NHL starts next week. Baseball playoffs in full swing. And don't worry, listen to the episode. Get through it. I'll talk about some Blue Jays later in the episode. Get some things off my chest. Things, if you're in the Toronto market or you're a baseball fan, you've heard all these things before. It's all the same things, but I'm going to get them off my chest nonetheless. Next week, I'm working on getting a couple people in to talk about baseball and to talk about the NHL season, which starts on Tuesday. But let's dive into the NFL Week 5. A couple things from last week that just kind of caught my eye that I wanted to go through. And to say I owe an apology might be a bit early. But you know what? No. I'm a man of integrity. I try to do what I do to the highest standard that I can on that day. And I owe Josh Allen an apology. I've been pretty reluctant to believe in this Bills team for a while now. Like, this isn't new. If you know me, you know, as like my friend or something, last year, leading into the season last year, everyone crowned them the Super Bowl champions, and I was just having none of it. And this year, kind of same thing, although no one was talking about them as like this like Super Bowl favorite juggernaut, right? With the way the last season ended, the offseason chit-chat didn't go that way. But that first game against the Jets was everything that worries us about the Bills, specifically Josh Allen. And since then, he has been the MVP of the league, in my opinion. That game against the Dolphins was arguably the best game that I've ever seen him play. 21 for 24, 320 yards, 4 TDs, 0 picks. They scored on 8 out of 10 scoring drives, a bunch of touchdowns, few field goals. And, you know, that game against the Dolphins, it was a very, very highly anticipated game. And it was disappointing from a fan standpoint that it ended up just being a blowout. But I believe that game, it was more important, yes, for the Bills, but it was more important for Josh Allen to come into a game like that against a team that just put up 70 points. Now, there is a natural drop-off when you have a moment like that where you go out, you score 70, you're on a high like that. It's a natural drop-off to kind of, drop off the next game. And that's what the Dolphins did. And Josh Allen, I believe on FanDuel, as of the other day, I haven't checked this morning, but as of the other day, he's the odds-on favorite to win the MVP at plus 350. And he's playing out of his mind. You're still seeing these plays, and this is kind of how it goes with him, right? Is you are still seeing these plays that are just risky, like just out of this world risky. Shouldn't do them, but he does them, and right now he's connecting on them, and it's phenomenal to see. And with that game last week, I just really do think that, for the Dolphins, like, I'm not worried about it with them. I still think that they are one of the best offenses in the league, if not the best. They just added Chase Claypool, which we'll see what that means. Like, he was phenomenal with Pittsburgh. Non-existent really with the Bears. Seems like there's some personal stuff kind of going on between the ears, and you hope for the best for him, and we'll see what happens. For the Dolphins, it's like fine swing, right? Like you're giving up nothing for him, and so why not take a shot, add to the arsenal, and if he doesn't work out, you're not really losing anything. But if he does work out, then you're gaining, right? Like, absolutely gaining. But with the Bills, I really do believe I'm starting to really kind of eat my words when it comes to Josh Allen, when it comes to this Buffalo Bills team. Now, Tre'Davious White being hurt for the year is not nothing. I think that's a huge thing. Von Miller comes back reportedly this week. I obviously love that. Like, Von Miller's a beast. Can he stay healthy for the whole season? That's the real question. He hasn't played yet this year, so you would think that he'd be able to have the whole offseason, had 5 games to rest. But this Buffalo Bills team is for real. And everyone's, nodding their head saying, yeah, Mark, we know. And, like, listen, I just don't... The amount of plays that Josh Allen makes that are just so reckless, it's hard for me to get behind it. It really is. But he's killing it right now. That game last week was unbelievable. Like I said, maybe the best game that I've ever seen him play. And they're in London tomorrow morning, and I don't really like these London games. Like, I'm gonna pick them later because it's I guess like a prime time-ish game. I don't really put too much stock in any performance unless you're the Falcons and you've been showing us what you've been showing us all year, and then that's different. But for this Bills Jags game, I think, like, listen, the Jags have been there for 2 weeks. I don't think that that's nothing. I think that probably matters that you've been there. And Buffalo got there a couple days ago. I don't think that's nothing. However, this Jacksonville team, I just don't... The inconsistency at which this team has played is also not nothing. And so I think the Bills go out and win this game. But if they don't, and they put up a dud, it wouldn't surprise me, but it also wouldn't worry me. So there's that. And yeah, like I said, for the Dolphins, they needed a little slap on the mouth. They needed to come down to earth, and they needed some reality checks. I think Tyreek Hill said it great. I think it was on his podcast where he said that Like, we needed that game so that now we can fix the things that need to be fixed when we're not fixing those things when we're winning. But now that we lost one, and lost one pretty good, we can go in, we can tweak things, we can fix some things. The Ravens-Browns, Lamar Jackson, 15 for 19, 2 TDs. Didn't have to be insane, but that offense just keeps humming. The Browns, Watson didn't play, and I don't really know what to make of it. This defense is terrific. They didn't play like it on Sunday. And with this Ravens team, this is the best that I've seen the offense. Lamar Jackson seems to be making the right decisions, making the right reads, making the right calls. He's got a perfect balance right now of passing and rushing. And I personally picked them to win the division. I still think they win the division. And, the problem with them over the years as well was their rushing game minus Lamar Jackson, right? And on Sunday, they had 4 rushers with 20-plus yards. And I think that really matters. If they can establish the run minus Lamar Jackson, not actually minus, like you want him running, but I just mean besides like Lamar, we know what he's going to do. But if we can get the running game established for Baltimore, I think that the sky's the limit for this team. Now, the injuries on defense are concerning. For whatever reason with this team, the injuries just, okay, one of our best defensive players is hurt, I guess. The next guy's going in, and they do well, and they win. And I know that the Browns had a backup quarterback. If Nick Chubb was in that game, I do think it goes differently when you have a back there to establish the run in the absence of your starting quarterback. I think that matters. But I do think, and with the Ravens this week facing the Steelers, if the Ravens can win this game, I feel like the division's almost a lock. And I know it's early, but we're getting to that point, right, where we're starting to get a feel. And I think with the loss that the Browns had on Sunday, if the Ravens can go in, beat the Steelers, I think the division's theirs for the taking. The next thing that I wanted to kind of chat on, and I think it's one of the best surprises of the year, the most, welcoming surprise of the year. The Houston Texans take down the Steelers 30-6. Now, the Steelers, it's just not a defense performance that you're going to see from them very often. Not one that you expect. I feel like tomorrow against Baltimore, that defense is going to come out flying. And I mean, TJ Watt and Highsmith, they're going to go nuts tomorrow. And Fitzpatrick, I just don't think that defense on that Steelers team is going to be super happy with what happened last week. And I think tomorrow is going to be a much more dominant game from that defense. But it's about the Houston Texans. You got C.J. Stroud, you got Collins, you got Schultz, you got Pierce, and then you got a bunch of dudes that the nerds have heard of. But, I mean, the average football fan doesn't know half this team. I'm willing to bet, I'm willing to place money on that the average football fan can't name more players than the ones that I just named. And C.J. Stroud is balling right now. Just absolutely phenomenal. So fun to watch. And this team's got my attention, man. I think I said it last week, too. I will be watching this team every week. Every week. I love what C.J. Stroud's doing. they're still, like, did I write it down? Yeah, they're still plus 460 to win the division. And you got the Titans, you got the Colts, you got the Jags. I absolutely think that this team can win the division. Absolutely. The Titans win 28-3 next week. They lose 28-3 the week after. You got the Colts, where the Colts are a team, they're always hanging around. They're always frisky. They're always, so the Colts, I think, they're going to be around this whole season. And then the Jags, I don't know. The Jags should be having a phenomenal year so far. They should be balling out, but they're not. And so I think Houston can win this. So I looked at this. They're 2-2. Left on their schedule, starting this week, they have Falcons, Saints, Panthers. I believe they can win all three of those games. Bucks, Bengals, Cardinals. The Bucks game will be tricky, but the Bengals, we don't know what the Bengals are right now. The defense has been playing awful. Joe Burrow's on one leg, and without him cooking, the offense is at a standstill. Why can't the Texans win that game? Then the Cardinals, who have been a really fun team to watch this year. I'm rooting for them tomorrow. We'll get into that later. They're a frisky team. But they can beat that game. Then you got the Jags, Broncos, Jets. You can win all three of those games. Titans, Browns, Titans. Right? You'll probably split with the Titans, depending how the Browns are rolling at the end of the year. This team could be 10-7, 11-6. This team could legit be a double-digit winning team, and it's a really fun story because everyone just assumed the Texans would be awful, and rightfully so. Why would you expect this team to make it to the playoffs? Why would you expect this team to do anything crazy? And C.J. Stroud's balling. The team is absolutely balling. Last week, Collins, Schultz, Pierce, Woods, Mechie, all 20-plus yards receiving. Collins had 168. Stroud was 16 for 30 with 306 and 2 touchdowns. I just really, really like this Texans team, and I think they are a threat every week, no matter who they're playing, if Stroud is behind center. And I think it's really cool, too, to see a rookie quarterback just come out and own it. It's really exciting. Eagles-Washington. Eagles come out on top 34-31 in overtime. And, a couple things. I think for the Eagles, the center of that defense is still just such a concern. And you go into games, you just, where was it? I had it here. For defense, they're 26th in pass defense right now. Now, first in rush defense, but 26th in pass defense. And it's going to be a concern every week, no matter who you play. Right, this week you got Stafford, Cooper Kupp's coming back. We don't know about Stafford's hip. Quarterbacks need hips, generally speaking, and so that's going to be a concern for the rest of the year, I think, unless they do something drastic. The defensive line is still phenomenal, and the corners are great. But that middle of the field is going to be a concern all year long. And the question's still coming from Philadelphia. And I understand it. And it's a debate every week. Are we worried with Jalen Hurts? Are we worried with Jalen Hurts? And I am here to say that for me, I am not worried about Jalen Hurts. To me, and the Ringer guys were talking about this on the Philly Special podcast. A little shout out to them. They do great work. You know, they were talking about this on Wednesday, I believe, where it looks obvious that they're just trying to not get him hurt at this point, is what it looks like. He doesn't look fully comfortable in the pocket, but he also, his runs aren't as explosive. He's not doing those crazy plays. He did one, I believe, in the fourth quarter to get the fourth down. It's like if the game's on the line, he'll go out, he'll get it done. But in the middle of the game, rather than just getting trucked over as he's running, he's just going to take a seat. And you don't want to see it because you want to see what this team can do at their highest potential. You want to see these crazy plays. You want to see that. But on the other hand, listen, the guy got hurt last year. Actually, the last 2 years. He just signed, $52.5 million contract for the next 5 years. You want him healthy. And the reality of the schedule is, like, these are the games that you can, like, get by. And no disrespect to the teams that they faced and the teams that they're playing. But, I mean, this week it's the Rams, who offensively I think can get this Eagles team. That's going to be concerning for me. But defensively, this defensive line is going to own this game. And it can be a long day for the Rams offense from an Eagles defense point of view. I think the Eagles can absolutely win this game defensively. And so, you know, for this game, and then they're playing the Jets, which have a good defense, but we know about the Jets, we know about their offense. But when you're playing the Dolphins, you're playing the Bills, you're playing the Chiefs, you're playing the Cowboys twice, you got the 49ers coming up, you got the Seahawks towards the end of the year. You need those games, you need to go out and make a play. But right now, you can play the way you're playing, and I'm honestly not concerned. And as long as they can keep that running game as insane as it has been, then you're fine. And, you know, we saw last week, the running game was not as dominant as it was the weeks before. Still good, but not as dominant as it was the weeks before. And Hurts went out and statistically had his best game of the season. Visually, had his moments, but so I'm here to say, for myself, I'm not worried about Hurts, and I'm not worried about the Eagles' offense. However, the middle of the field defensively is what's worrisome to me. I don't want to sit on this Bengals Tennessee game too often. I think from a Tennessee perspective, this is what we're gonna see all year. Like, you know, they won 27-3, and this week they're not going to score a touchdown. I think this is just how this team has been. It's how it's going to go. The question with the Bengals: when do we call it? And I don't necessarily mean like the playoff run, which I guess this does go hand in hand. But you just paid Joe Burrow record-breaking money. And it's clear he's going to be hurt probably all year. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I have no idea. Is he going to get better just naturally even though he's playing? You know, is it just kind of get us to the bye week and then we'll get through? And I don't know, maybe. But to me, the question kind of becomes like, when do we decide to shut this guy down, get him healthy, get him right, and next year we come back at it? That's what I mean, I understand you want to kind of grind out these games. Trying to think who they play this week. I had it, but I completely lost it. But I just don't think, like, to me, I would just sit him at this point. Like, you're 1-3. You're playing the Cardinals this week. Oh, yeah, that's right. I have these in my picks. You're playing the Cardinals this week. The Cardinals are not this walkover team that we all thought they were. Like that 49ers game, like they were pretty much in it the whole game, and then the Niners just became too much. But they were in it. Like it was like 21-16 for a lot of that second half. I don't think this is a gimme for the Bengals by any means. And I think if you lose this game, what's the point? Like, I don't know, maybe you can go out and win, 9 in a row, 10 in a row. Probably not. I would just sit him. Just get him healthy, get him right. You just signed him to this big contract. It sucks that your year's wasted, but just get him right. That's my opinion for whatever it's worth, which is nothing for the most part. The Cowboys 38, Patriots 3. Cowboys play the 49ers tonight on Sunday Night Football, the most anticipated game. Easily the most anticipated game of the week. And, I'm not going to comment on the Patriots. Listen, I think Belichick's kind of had his day. I think it's done. The Mac Jones sucks. The defense is good, but they sucked last week. I don't know. I nothing really to add to that. The Cowboys, it frustrates me every week. This frustrates me. This defense is so good. Like, the defense is insanely good. And as an Eagles fan, it's hard to watch. But as a fantasy general manager who has Micah Parsons on his defensive roster, I'm fine with it. But I want to see Dak win a game. That's what I want to see. All summer, every year, the question is, Dak. Can Dak, will Dak, does Dak, blah, blah, blah. And we haven't seen him have to go out and win a game. Except for the game against the Cardinals, which they lost. And so that's what I'm looking for tonight. You're 3-1. You're playing the 49ers tomorrow night. Dak is going to have to go out and win that game. It's not going to be a 38-3, 40-0, 30-10. That's not the game this is going to be. The 49er will score points. Now, I believe the defense can keep them in check, but the Niners are going to score points. So this is the game that we've been waiting to see all summer. This is the game that we all need to see. We need to see, can Dak win a game? And, my buddy Tom Brown's been on here with me, and he keeps saying that game against the Jets, he was, slicing and dicing. And that game last week, he was slicing and dicing. And yeah, it's true. Like, Dak's played well, 100%. The offense has played well. They've been smooth. They've been clicking. I'm not doubting that. But the defense has won these games. Dak has not had to win a game. He hasn't. And he did, but he lost it. Right? This has been a defensive... Just the defenses have put this game away so early that the offense hasn't had to make plays. And so I can't wait for that on Sunday night. As an Eagles fan, I don't want to see it to happen. But as a football fan, I want to know. Should I be worried about this Dallas team? And offensively speaking, I'm just not. All right. Week 5 coming up. We got there eventually. Texans Falcons. I'm really excited for this game. I think the Texans have one of the worst run defenses in the league. And the Falcons have Bijan Robinson. Just run the ball. Just run the ball. Don't let Ritter cook, if you will. Like, don't give him this. Like, just give the ball to Robinson and see what happens. If they do that and just let like Ritter throw like 18 passes, they'll probably win the game. But the thing with the Falcons, and we already talked about the Texans, but with the Falcons, I just don't know what their plan is. Like, if their plan is to develop Ritter, then okay, do that. But there's a good chance that you're going to punt the season. Right? Like, he's not playing well at all. And when he's in the game, your chances to win go downhill dramatically. So, if you want to win and you want it to make it to the playoffs, I put Heineke in. Why not? Just put him in, see what happens, and maybe you can catch lightning. I mean, you know, he played pretty well the last few years for Washington, right? Like, I'd put him in if you want to win right now. If you're just trying to develop Ritter, then don't worry about it. And let him in. Let him stay in. But I just don't really know what their vision is. I feel like, because they put him in, for the last 4 games last year. They should have put him in way sooner. And taken Mariota out way sooner last year. And then, like, your sample size will be double, right? But as of right now, like, we just don't know what this kid is. And if you want to win, having him in there is not going to get it done. Giants, Dolphins. Oh, the Giants. Oh, man. Like, what a come down to earth moment for this team. Just insane, this moment. Absolutely. Like, all summer, just the whole questions were, you know, what we saw last year, this year. This team has been awful on both sides of the ball, mostly the offensive side. I think the defense has been okay. But when you get sacked 10 times, what are you going to do? It's been tough. For the Dolphins, this is just a get-right game for the Dolphins. Just get right. You know, don't sweat last week. It's done. Over. Tweak some things. Move on. But I'm excited to see this Dolphins team kind of get clicking again, and I'm curious as to what happens with the Giants. Like, it's just a disastrous season already on so many levels, and they should be 0-4. Like, that game against the Cardinals, like the Cardinals should have won that game. Ravens Steelers, we talked about already. It's always a close game with these two. With this offense, Matt Canada running the show, and, you know, Kenny Pickett is insisting that he plays on Sunday. And I just got to see it one more week. I'm not too sure what to expect there. The Eagles-Rams. This team, so Rams have the 7th best pass defense, which could cause the Eagles some trouble. But they had the 25th best rush defense, right? And that's what the Eagles have been doing all year, is just running the ball. On the other side, we talked about it, the Eagles have the 1st place rush defense and the 26th pass defense. I think there's going to be a ton of points in this game for both sides. I just don't think that the offensive line can withstand the Eagles defensive line, and I don't think that this Rams defense, like, besides Donald, like, it's not the cream of the crop back there. And I don't think that this Rams defense can slow down the Eagles offense. I think they roll. I think they go 5-0. But it's just another week to see with Hurts, right? Is there any more signs that we like seeing? Is there anything that we're worried about? And for Stafford, it's just about that hip. If that hip's okay, and if Kupp comes back and looks 100%, this is going to be an absolute shootout, and I can't wait for it. So I did a little experiment. Experiment is a weird word to say for it, but the best teams in the NFL. I was thinking about this. Who are the best teams in the NFL right now? And what are the questions that we have about these teams? Now, this isn't in any like order of like 1 to 5 or like ranked or nothing like that. This is just as they came to my head. I wrote down the 5 top teams. To me, right now, San Francisco, Dolphins, Eagles, Cowboys, Bills, and I mean the Chiefs as well. I just realized that I left off the Super Bowl champions. For the San Francisco 49ers, I have no questions. I think this team's the best team in the NFL. I just think, like, between the offense and the defense, like, no game is a sweat. Like, I think the closest game through 3 quarters was against the Cardinals, right? Like, I'm not worried about this Niners team at all. And I just, where do you find the hole? Like, this defense is out of this world. The offense, like, just get the ball to McCaffrey and you're good to go. Purdy is playing extremely well this year. You still get, there was some nerd stat about how he's the highest percentage of turnover-worthy plays. So he gets risky out there. And against better defenses, he might actually pay for those things. But that's really the only way that this team is going to lose, is if they turn the ball over. I just see nothing wrong. Like, so they play the Cowboys this week. Then they play the Browns. And then they play the Vikings. And I just don't know when this team loses their next game. I would love to say that's when they play the Eagles. But I'm not confident in that with the way that the defense has been playing for the Eagles in the middle of the field. I just think this Niners team is the best team in the league. And I don't think, like, there's no holes. The Dolphins, I think, is just about Tua's health continually. That'll be all year. We might talk about it less, but it'll always be there. Tua's health. That's the biggest thing. And their defense. Their defense has been absolutely gettable all season. So that's something to look out for. For the Eagles, it's the defense, and it hurts. Just watching him over the course of the season with the play caller, how does that get better? How does that get smoother? I definitely question the defense more than I question Hurts, but it's interesting to see. With the Cowboys, it's just that, like, can Dak win a game, like we talked about? With the Bills, it's the injuries on defense. You always have your Josh Allen concerns, but it's the injuries on defense. Like that, like, to lose those guys for the season is tough. And for White, too, my heart breaks for the guy. Like, he already fought back from this injury, and it happens again, and that's really tough. And for the Chiefs, it's just the wide receivers. Like, I know that you have Travis Kelce, but as far as what else? Like, 3rd and 11, you have to have it Kelsey's double teamed, who are you going to? I think that's going to be a bigger concern as this season goes on. I really do. Devontae Adams. Get him out of Las Vegas. Send him to Kansas City. That would be a blast. So for tomorrow night's game, just one more quick thing with the with the Cowboys and the Niners. The Cowboys have allowed 41 points this year. That's the lowest amount of any team. And Purdy's 9-0. I can't wait. Can't wait for this game. Super excited. All right. Let's take a quick break and make some picks.
Here, go get the money, so I go get it. Hate means I do something right, so I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him, yeah, I'ma let him. I hit the nail on the head, yeah, I'ma let him. All I hear, go get the money, so I go get it. Hate means I do something right, so I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him, yeah, I'ma let him. I hit the nail on the head.
All right, picks against the spread. For tomorrow, Sunday, week 5, I'm 7-11-1 in the games that I've chosen against the spread. Not looking hot, but this is the week we turn it around. You can't win your money back if you don't lose it in the first place. I think like Socrates or something said that years ago. And I agree with him. London, Jags, Bills. I don't love this game. I don't love this pick. Like I talked about earlier, I shared my concerns about this London game. However, the Bills are minus 5.5. And as a token of goodwill towards Josh Allen, I'm picking the Bills 5.5. I just think I know that Tre'Davious White that's tough. But hey, until someone slows down this Bills team, I'm picking the Bills minus 5.5. The 1 o'clock game, I was gonna pick the Panthers and Lions, but my new team, the Houston Texans, against the Falcons in Atlanta, minus 1.5, and I am picking Houston plus 1.5 all day. The defense is concerning. Bijan Robinson should get 200 yards against this team, but I think they're going to try to get Ritter going, and I think it's not going to work, and I think Houston wins, minus 1.5. 4 o'clock game, Bengals, Cardinals. I'm picking the Cardinals, plus 3. This Cardinals team's been frisky all year. This Bengal offense is at a standstill. If the Bengals win this game, it will be by 3-2, or maybe they'll just cover and it'll be by 4. They're not blowing this Cardinals team out. I just don't think they are. I'm picking the Cardinals plus 3. Cowboys Niners for the Sunday nighter. I think the Niners win this game, and I think that they win it by the 3.5. I really do. I don't think that this Cowboys offense can keep up. And it's because the Niners defense, hey, they have a great defense too. You got 2 great defenses going at it. I don't think that this Cowboys offense can keep up. I just don't. Niners are minus 3.5. Monday nighter, Packers at Raiders. Raiders minus 1.5. I think this is Packers all day. I can't trust Garoppolo. I can't trust McDaniels. I can't trust this Raiders offense. And I think if you're giving me 1.5, I like that wiggle room there. I'm picking 1.5. There's no teasers that I like for this week. I was looking through all these weeks. I love a good tease. You know that. I don't like teasers for this week. I just don't. I'll probably be acting like a degenerate on my couch on Sunday, and I'll probably get roped into a couple stupid teases. But on this show, I'm not recommending any teats for this week. But I do like a little underdog parlay, as I've already talked about. Houston is plus 110 to win. Arizona is plus 142 to win. You parlay that together, that's 408. And I love it. Why not? These two teams, no one believes in us, blah, 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 blah. I think both these teams win tomorrow. And that's plus 408 if you parlay them together. And if you want to go point spread, Houston plus 1.5 is minus 105, and Arizona plus 3 is minus 105. You parlay that together, you get 281. So I like it. I like it. Maybe even just do both, double dip. Why not? Other than that, I love some over-unders this week. I love the Eagles and Rams over-under. It's over 50.5, minus 110. I think both these teams score 25 points each, for sure. And then, hoping someone wins, they got to score at least one more point than the other team. So I think 50.5 is a good number. Chiefs and Vikings over 52.5. I think same thing. The Vikings offense can absolutely score points, and their defense is and they love to blitz, and the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes will carve them up if they blitz. I think something like 82% of their defensive plays have been blitzes, and the Chiefs are going to cook them up. So I think 52.5 over at minus 110. And the Saints-Patriots game, both these offenses are snails right now. The under is 39.5. It's a really low number, but I'm taking it under 39.5, minus 110. Parlay that all together at plus 596. A little extra. I do like the Jets at Broncos plus 116, plus 1.5 points. I know that the Jets offense is what it is with Zach Wilson, but this Broncos defense is just so awful, and I just think that the Jets win this game. So, listen, if you've made it all the way through and you're waiting for my Blue Jays takes, I hope you read the show notes because I'm going to wait. I've been going for 45 minutes. I'm feeling good. I think that's enough. I got a long Thanksgiving day ahead of me, so I'm going to stop it right there. And on my next episode, I will break down what drives me insane about this Blue Jays team. The only thing, actually, that I will say, it's 9:25 a.m. Saturday morning as of right now. After the Blue Jays did what they did and the week that they had and the mistakes that were made and blah, 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 Ross Atkins is addressing the media at 11 a.m., an hour and a half from now, on a Saturday morning of a long weekend. That's not even a news dump. Like, is there like a name for like something that's like dumpier than a news dump? Because it just drives me nuts. And Shapiro's not talking to the media till next Thursday. It just drives me insane. Saturday morning of a long weekend. This team. But anyway, I digress. Thank you so much for watching, listening on YouTube or Spotify. You can hit me up on Twitter at SportAddictMark. SportAddictMark on Twitter. Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, all that. Thanks to First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans. I'm Mark Sauter for Sports Addict Live. We will see you next time. Get hooked.